Evelyn Taylor, an indie author, here with another indie author, Jennifer. How do you say your last name? I don't want to say it wrong.
Stegman.
Stegman. Okay. Okay. That was easier than I thought. So I'm here with Jennifer Stegman. She is the author of the Star Path saga, but also you have about 10 books on your Amazon right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have 8 books. Three of
Oh,
them are part of the series, and then the other 5 are just poetry.
oh, okay. Awesome. So, first and foremost, I always like asking the authors, what inspired you to start writing to begin with?
Okay, this is going to be a bit of a cringe-worthy story I'm about to tell, but I was in elementary school and big fan of wrestling, still kind of am. And I, being the little naive kid I was, had a huge crush on my favorite wrestler. So for some reason, I felt the need to write a fanfic about him. And I guess that was what started it, really.
Yeah, no shame. No shame at all. So do you have, so you're at the start, well, okay, it wasn't the Start Pass series. Sorry, I have that in my head as like that being like your big one. So that story, is that one of the stories that you created, or is that one of those that's like the first story and we'll never probably see the day of light? Because I have one too.
The first story that will never see the light of day because I have since destroyed it and got rid of
I understand. I have one too.
it.
But yeah, we all started somewhere. So you have that one, and then did it kind of grow as you like went through school, or did you kind of have a break there and then come back to it later?
I did have a bit of a break. I didn't go back to writing until high school when I was in my English class, and our teacher wanted us to write a poem about something that was like tragic to us. My first poem about the 9/11 event.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a tragic one, and that's a good one to
So,
express feelings on. Yeah. And so then that kind of
and
kickstarted.
that is in one of my poetry books. I just can't remember which one.
Nice. So that kind of kickstarted into you're like, I kind of like this writing thing. Or did you just start with poetry or did you go jump around into the story making aspect?
I jumped back and forth in high school because I started with poetry, but then I actually hand wrote my first like 6 book series while I was in high school, all on line paper.
Okay. And is that a series that's available now or was that another one that you're just like, no?
No,
Yeah.
no, that one I am looking to eventually go back to and rewrite it and maybe possibly release it. I'm also doing the same thing with a sequel I wrote in high school as well, also all online paper. And like I've already started rewriting that, but I've kind of like taken a break from it at the moment as I'm working on my current series.
Yeah. Well, really quick, tell me about that. How does it feel to kind of dive into work that you did when you were younger and like seeing the difference of where you are now as a writer?
Oh my God, when I read the sequel that I wrote, I cringed so hard. Ugh, I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking when I wrote this? So I was sitting there going, okay, how can I turn this into something a little bit better? And so I'm just gonna completely redo the whole storyline, everything.
Yeah. Well, and even back then too, we probably were like, this is the best stuff I've ever written in my entire life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, yep.
Well, so what was the first book that I guess you talked about your poetry first. Were those the first ones you published as an author on Amazon?
Yes, my first poetry book I published is called The Beauty of the Heart,
Okay.
and it is on Amazon right now.
And what does your poetry usually focus around, or is it kind of just all over the place?
Well, as most of it I have written in high school, and I've published that because, I mean, poetry, there's no really, I mean, I guess there could be some cringy type poetry, but for me, it was all like from the heart.
Hmm.
So most of that was focused around like some anger, depression, some things that happened in my life. Some of the newer poetry that I have, like A Breath of Life, My Inspiration, those two are mostly focused around my daughter.
Breath of life, I get it. Right. Oh my gosh, yeah, just being a mom, you could write so much poetry on all of the stages of that. Actually, so
Yep.
TA Books is for indie authors, and me and another one of the authors, we had kiddos like a month apart from each other, our first kiddo. And so we're writing a
Oh,
poetry book together because our experiences could not have been further apart from like every mom has a different experience and every experience is such a journey. So I'd be intrigued
yeah.
to kind of read some of those and see as a mom your experiences.
Oh, yeah. Now there might be some poems that I still incorporated from like when I was writing in high school, but most of it's centered around her. So,
Yeah. Well, and I did see, I went to your page and I saw that you had a list of work in progresses that you have coming up, and you did have at least one or maybe two poem books, or at least one coming forward soon.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, one. And the other one's a short story collection of paranormal experiences. So if anyone's had any experiences and wants them included in that book, share it with me.
I have had a handful, but
Oh,
I will
hey, if
be
you want to
happy
send
to
them my
send
way,
anyway.
yeah, if you want to, I'll definitely include it.
Okay, so question. So are these real experiences or are these kind of made up like a horror story fictional thing, or are you talking about like actual real experiences that you have had yourself?
Real life experience.
Okay. Do you have one you would be willing to share right now or not really? Because you don't want to give it away yet.
Um, these are real life experiences that like you've actually either seen these ghosts or you've just like felt their presence or they've made themselves known to you.
Hmm.
And I will share one that is very, very friendly. Like nothing happened because I'm not wanting to include anything of the demonic type. No one wants to relive those. Thankfully, I haven't had anything like that. But the one I'm going to share, I think I had just moved out of my mom's house a year or so before. And so I was working alongside my mom in this newspaper route that she was doing. And I was just on her computer browsing MySpace as you do in those days. This was like 2007. And everyone was asleep. My mom, her significant other at the time, and my sister, all asleep. I was the only one awake. And I knew about this residual ghost they had in their house that they had named Rose because her perfume smelled like roses. So I'm sitting there at the computer, just browsing MySpace, and all of a sudden I get the whiff of rose scented perfume. Everyone's asleep. Okay, so I acknowledge her. I was like, "Hi, Rose." And then she just kind of lingered around me for about, so I was smelling the perfume for quite a while until it started to give me a headache. And I was like, all right. Um, so I acknowledged her again. I was like, Rose, I don't mind you hanging around me, but your perfume's starting to give me a slight headache. So I would appreciate it if you could just like maybe go to a different part of the house or something. And she went away.
I've definitely had a few of those. So yeah, so you said earlier you're looking for if anyone else wants to put in their stories, other than just me, like anyone else that's listening to this wants to add it in. Do they have like a set date that you want
Yeah.
them in by?
August 10th is when I'm looking to publish said book. So yeah, if you guys want to send them my way anytime before then would be great.
Okay. Love that. And you are avoiding like the demonic side of it, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we don't want to be reliving that.
Okay. Well, I have a few of those too, but I won't tell them.
No, no, don't.
Well, okay, so that was your poem books, and then you do have, I mean, your TikTok where we met was the account itself was
Yeah,
the Star Path Saga. And
there we
so
go.
you really are kind of diving into the saga part as well. Is that like your main novel base, or do you have other novels that you have written?
Right now, that's my main series. Like I do have like other series in the works, as you saw on my, in the works list. But right now, I'm mainly focusing on the Star Path saga because there's two more books aside from the three that are released that are going to be released with alongside those three.
Nice. Okay. Did you want to go through what you have coming up?
I know right now the first one on there is Grave Visitations, which is the paranormal short story collection. And then Burning Desires being my poetry collection that I'm probably going to be releasing today or tomorrow. And then I believe after that is The Journey, which is book four to the Starpath Saga. And then after that, I believe I put book five, don't have a working title, Phoenix Rising, which is going to be out a side character in the Star Path series. And then after that, I believe was book one to another series that I've dubbed the Cosmic Empire.
Oh, that's very exciting. So you said your Burning Desires poetry collection will be released today?
today or tomorrow. I'm finishing it up. I've done the book cover for it already, and I think it's ready to go. So,
Yeah, that's super exciting. Congratulations.
thank you.
So, do you see this being like, are you just doing writing for fun and just kind of like expressing yourself, or do you play like, would you want at some point to have this as like a full-time job of just being a writer?
It started off as a hobby, and it still is a hobby, but I would like to see it take off as a full-time career sometime down the road.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree for myself. I think that'd be awesome if we could all just be writers at home and just pump out these amazing stories and collection poetry collections and everything. Speaking of hobbies, other than writing, what is another hobby that you enjoy doing?
Um, I do like to do or play some cozy games like Animal Crossing, and I try to like play my daughter's Hello Kitty Island Adventure game just to try and like get her through her quests because she doesn't quite understand how to do those yet. She just likes to go on, go fishing, explore, run around, as little kids do on their games. I also play D&D with my husband and our little group of friends.
Yeah, okay, so you're a little gamer on the side, not like the video
Yeah,
game, but well, kind of, yeah.
yeah.
A gamer. That's always fun. And so do you ever actually pull some inspiration from games or like pull inspiration from your D&D games into your Star Path saga or other book ideas?
Kind of. But recently, like with my first three books, no, because we weren't playing D&D then. But now, like we've started a campaign, and I might put some inspiration from it into my next book because there is a dragon in my series, and I am currently playing said dragon character in our campaign.
There you go. Why rewrite it? It's already written.
Exactly.
So if you, for your first three, since you said you didn't have that inspiration from D&D, where did you get that inspiration from? Did it just kind of like randomly come to you, or was there something that triggered that?
Most of it randomly came to me, but the genre for it being sci-fi fantasy, the inspiration for that mostly came from a mixture of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings.
Okay. And so it still kind of has that vibe to it where if you like Star
Yes.
Wars and Lord of the Rings, you like this.
Hmm.
All right. Now you did say too you have your fourth and fifth one coming soon, or at least that's in the works. Do you have like is five the last one, or you're just kind of seeing where this goes, or do you have a set number?
I'm just gonna see where it goes
Oh,
because I'm writing as the characters are telling me their story.
isn't that insane? I feel like every time I have a podcast, that always comes up where they're like the characters are in control, not me.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
That's so crazy. Well, and that's kind of I keep meaning to put this on the questions too. So I love asking authors who have really been in and already published a few books and like been in the deep dark works of writing. If you had advice for a up and coming new indie author, what would you tell them?
Like if they haven't started writing their book yet, but they have the idea for it, I would say just start writing. That's what I did with the first book to my series, but I made the mistake of publishing it for right after I finished writing the first draft because I was like, oh, this is good to go, not knowing that it needed to be edited and polished up. So no, now it's good to go. It's perfect and edited to perfection. But no, like if you're just starting out, you have the idea in your head and you don't know how to go about it, just write down your ideas or just start writing the book. And then you can go through and do like I did with my last book, being edit as you go, or you can just write it all out and then go back and edit it later. And then if it still doesn't feel right to you and you want a second set of eyes on it, send it to a friend or somebody else and have them edit it for you. And that way they can give you their notes on what needs to be fixed, taken out.
No, that's perfect. That's exactly probably what I would tell them too. I think the thing that stops a lot of people, or at least what I have seen is yeah, they're scared to either start it or they do and then they reread it and they're like, this is trash, no one's gonna like this. So the imposter syndrome settles in. And then the editing process. No one likes to do that. I did the same thing with my first one where I was like, okay, it's done. And I don't think I went through and edited it more than once. And so I was like, nah, it's good to go. And I had to edit it later, 2 years down the road, and it was really bad.
Yeah, no, that was me with The Princess of Lunastra. I just wrote it and I was like, this is perfect. And then I published it. And then a year later, no, not even a year later. It was like 7 months later. My sister took a look at it and was like, "What on earth were you thinking?" And so she was trying to go through and change it up a bit, make it a bit better. But a little bit after that, I then took another look at it and was like, "No, this is still kind of bad." So then I just rewrote it completely, and now it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, we learn as we grow. Well, so
Yeah.
another question I love asking is what is your least favorite part of the writing process? Like from start to from brainstorming the idea all the way to publishing, what is your least favorite part of it?
Probably the editing process because I can't tell you how many times I've had to take things out and then like change it up and make it sound like it is perfect, make it make sense, you know?
1,000%. I think that's also the answer everyone always gives is editing. Oh, so do you and I, because we just met on TikTok and I'm loving the connection so far, so we'll definitely keep going with that. But did you do ARC reads and beta reads with your books?
I have been doing ARC reads with my first two books. I didn't know anything about that, so I had published them without doing it. But my third book, I do have a team that I put together, and they are now reading it because I didn't set a timeline for them to like post the reviews or anything because I know life happens. You know, people have jobs, families, not everyone has 24 hours in a day to devote to reading a book. So I tell them, hey, here's the book. It's done. Read it. Post your review when you have the time. Like, I have no deadline. Life happens. And my ARC readers are actually appreciative of the fact that I have no deadline because one of them has some health issues. So
Mm.
she's like, this is very helpful. Yeah. And I've already had one review, well, two reviews posted on my third book after it came out.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. Every review is
Yeah.
super helpful. All the feedback, good, bad, whatever. That's very helpful for indie authors. So, guys, get your reviews in. Any indie author,
Yes.
get them in.
Goodreads, Amazon, wherever you
Yes.
post them, post them. It helps
Yes.
get our books out to a fresh set of eyes.
Right. Well, and I've been trying because I will admit I didn't always automatically go do reviews. Like I'd think about it like a month later and be like, oh yeah, I never did that. So I've been really trying that as soon as I'm done reading a book, I immediately go to Amazon because then it's fresh in your head and you kind of have like your initial shock to the end or the cliffhanger, like this is how I feel. And so yeah, get those reviews in, guys.
Yeah.
So as being a author, are you also an avid reader?
Kind of. I haven't read more than my sister's books because she's also an indie author,
Yeah.
and I gotta give her a shout out because she's also been helping me with my series. As I mentioned, she edited and tried rewriting my first book for me the second time around. But she's not only that, she also does my artwork for my series because she's a very talented artist. I love including her artwork in my books, and we are actually working on something a little bit bigger together, but I can't quite spoil it just yet.
Ooh, that's very exciting though. I love that. And so as you're actively working on that now, or you just have the brainstorm with her?
We're working on it now because she's got something in the works that I don't think I can say yet that she's wanting to incorporate some of the details from my one of my books in. So this is all going to go into play with our bigger idea we're working on.
Okay, okay. So since you are working with someone on a book, without giving away spoilers, how has that journey been working with another author?
Well, it's been a lot of fun because not only does she like do her artwork for my books when I ask her like, "Hey, can I get this drawn up?" Because like I said, she's very good at drawing. But I also bounce, my brainstorm ideas off of her for my next books. Like for the fourth book, she helped me set up a timeline and some like brainstorming notes for it. The only thing is, I'm not starting the work on book four just yet because after I released book three last month, I decided to take the summer off from my series to spend more time with my daughter while she's out of school. And then on top of that, I was like, instead of not writing at all, I'll just do two smaller books, being the Paranormal Experience short story collection and the poetry book.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, and every now and then you kind of do need to take that step back and do like a short story, like keep your brain going, but like let that other one kind of just brew in the background.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I almost experienced burnout working on my third book. So that's kind of what, got me to take a step back from that one to go back and revisit my first book and rewrite it again, just to kind of like get the brain juices, like keep them flowing, but not get burnt out.
Right. Yes, the burnout, yes. Well, and when you, especially with the editing process and you have to read the book over and over and over and over again, you get to the
Mhm.
point of like reading fatigue. And so for me, I'm sure other people have this too, where you kind of just like browse or not browse, glance over the words and they almost don't really absorb as much anymore. So you almost have to take a break and then come back and reread it as a fresh set of eyes.
Yep.
Well, so yeah, we are down to the artworks. So did you want to do the artwork segment? And that was one where I gave you the three words and you made
Yeah,
art with it.
I did. I actually came up with a poem with those three words like this morning, right after I had my coffee and waking up.
Well, and her three words were medicine, promotion, and animal. I'm always bad about not putting those in, and then people are like, "What were they?"
So I wrote a poem with those three words. It's called Spirit Animal. In the days to come, I find myself staring at the stars, looking for a sign as the pain of loss hits hard. I seek comfort from the beauty of the galaxy, as it is the only medicine I can withstand. I am lifted by the wisp of the Milky Way, like a promotion is taking hold of me. I feel the pain dissipated just seeing the breathtaking scene ahead. Feeling free of any pain now, I take in the newfound freedom as my spirit animal guides me along my path.
Wow, I love that.
I was like, how can I work this into a poem? And so I thought of something celestial like.
No, I love that, and your descriptors were awesome for that. Wow, yeah,
Thank you.
I
And that's going in my poetry book I'm releasing like either today or tomorrow too.
I should get out there. No, I really enjoy this segment. I love picking other people's brains and just seeing what you guys create with that. But then also kind of because you have poetry, this kind of gives people an insight of what kind of flow you have for your poems. Because like you said, there's poems are so wide, like there's a wide range. You can have where
Yeah.
they rhyme, they don't, what they're about. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff. So seeing how you write your poems makes it more intriguing.
I'm very bad at rhyming poetry. So instead of doing that, I just put my emotions into it.
Yeah. Do you think that you can like just keep writing poetry as you keep going through life and all the different stages of motherhood and everything, or
Oh, yeah.
yeah? So is there anything else that you wanted to advertise between your books or even your sister's books? If you wanted to plug her in here, you can as well.
Yeah, let me pull up her books real quick
Mhm.
because she deserves as much promotion and spotlight on her books as I do.
Well, and you
Yes, I do.
said
Perfect.
that she does your artwork for you. Is she
Yes.
wanting to do artwork for other people and like looking for clients, or is she just doing it for you guys?
See, this is how she works. If you're a friend of hers or a family member, she'll do the artwork for free. Now, if someone else is looking for it, she might charge, but I can't say how much because I don't know.
Yeah. No, as she should. That's her work and her time. That's definitely worth something.
But I can say that her series is called Mystic Realms. There we go. And these are her four books.
Yeah.
Angel Diaries is book one, Goddess Diaries is book two, Cosmic Diaries book three, and Shadow Diaries book four. That this series is basically about an angel named Nixie who has betrayed heaven during the Holy Wars and is now in hell and is living life amongst the demons in hell. So if you want to find out how that goes for her, you're going to have to read those books because I'm not giving away any spoilers.
Yeah, no, I love that. So she kind of like an archangel situation, or does she have a whole different level of how that goes down?
Um, I
I know
think she
very
was just an angel in
mm,
heaven, and then when she betrays them during the Holy Wars, I'm not going to say how because spoilers, she then just becomes like part of them, but amongst demons, and so it's a little harder for her to fit in because she's the only angel in hell.
okay. No, I love that. Now is so she has that series and all four of those are out?
Yes, they're also all on Amazon.
Yeah.
And she has poetry as well. She's got two poetry books, but I can't remember the names of them right now.
Okay. And is she, besides you guys have that collaboration together, is she gonna keep posting or publishing other books too, or is she kind of just taking
Yeah.
pause here?
Yeah, right now she has book five in the works, and I've already edited it for her, but she is putting a hold on publishing that because she is currently in the process of moving. So,
Oh, makes sense. I don't blame her.
yeah.
Well, and for those again, so back to like the indie author, the new indie authors, I think that one of the good things too is to find someone, another indie author that you can kind of um, lean on in a sense. And so, what has that felt like for you to have another indie author to bounce ideas and edit and cover design and all that?
It's been a lot of fun. Because as she is my sister, we are like this. We're inseparable. Even though she lives across the country from me, we still talk like on a daily basis. And even if it's not about our books, we just talk about like art ideas or just life in general. But most of the time, it's me saying, "Hey, I've been pushing us all over Book Talk because Book Talk is like on the rise with indie authors right now." So.
Right.
And
Yes.
she's not on TikTok, so that's why I'm promoting her books on my page over there. Yeah, if you guys are into the whole, heaven versus hell type books like hers, they're considered dark fantasy. Go check them out. She's on Amazon under the name Raven Luna Knight.
Perfect. No, I love that. And I don't blame her. One of the team members, we have the four and three of us are on social, but one of them is not comfortable with social yet, and that's to each their own, but their books are still great and we want to get them out there. But
Mhm.
yes, indie authors is definitely on the rise in the book talk community, and it's really fun to be a part of that journey.
I keep going in other people's lives like, hey, like I'm an indie author, like come check out my books. Not exactly like that, but yeah.
Sometimes you got to say it like that too. Just be like, I write books, come see them.
Yeah, sometimes.
We do have about 8 minutes left before it just completely kicks us out. Like there is no warning, it'll just stop. So before we do
Yeah.
go, I do want to make sure that I have a moment where you can plug in where they can find you. Do you have a website? Your books are on Amazon? What socials you're most active on and all that?
I'm most active on Threads, TikTok, and I have a Facebook page. It's called the Starpath Saga. On TikTok, you can find me on the Starpath Saga underscore author. And then Threads, same thing, Starpath Saga underscore author.
Awesome. And I will have all that down below in the description for them.
I can send you my Linktree link because I also have like all my socials there. I also have like merch linked on there as well if they want to go check that out. And also to mention, I am working on book merch for my series, like bookmarks, posters, and stickers.
Hmm.
Because I'm working on putting together like signed PR packages to send out sometime in the future.
Okay. That's always fun. Well, we have about 5 more minutes. I obviously am suffering with words, so I can't think of much of anything else to talk about. So, is there anything else that you wanted to include today in the episode?
Just to remind all the viewers here that, as mentioned earlier, about my paranormal experiences short story collection, if you have any that you want to have included, you can go on to my Facebook page and you can DM me over there with them. Or if you're on TikTok, you can DM those to me there too.
Well, it's been wonderful talking to you, and I'm glad we met. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and congratulations on publishing that poetry book today or tomorrow. If you actually remember to tag me in the comments, I will try to look for it, but the algorithm's a mess. But if you tag me in the comments, I will try to help share a post about that too, as well. Get that news out there.
All right, well, I will do that.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day then.
You too.
All right, bye bye.